Hi, I'm Martha Scheeler, and I'm going to interview Laura Hobbs, who is running for Shasta Supervisor District 2, Shasta County, California. Hi, Laura.
Hi, Martha.
How are you?
I think that we kind of need to start looking at our budget with more of a fine-tooth comb and understanding, because a lot of these NGOs get in there and they just start siphoning off money from the county.
My co-lead on the team, Don, he says people perform to what you inspect, not what you expect.
That's part of what a full forensic audit would do, is it would enable us to look at the different county departments, department by department, and program by program, and break it down just to the minute level and actually make sure that we are getting what we're paying for. At the Board of Supervisors meeting, they approved a retroactive renewal agreement with Vista Pacific Enterprises for $7.5 million. It was for adult residential treatment services. It also gave the county authority to amend and terminate the contract. I was wondering, what services were rendered, who was served, how many people benefited, and how much of this money was used for overhead and management. This company, Vista Pacific Enterprises, and they have 36 employees, 11 of which were directors, 1 vice president, 1 C-level, and 2 managers. And so basically there was only 14 non-managers. So most of the people employed were actually getting paid to administer this program and not actually providing services. They have 15 to 18 clients per month. It's a locked facility, and they do medical and psychological services. Right now, Health and Human Services comprise about half of the county budget. If you look at the $7.5 million divided by 3 years, that's $2.5 million per year, and that's serving about 18 people per month. I don't know what the average is, but that was the most recent data they had. That's $134,000 per person per year. If you look at it per month, it's $11,600 per person per month, which those 18 people, I'm sure, are deserving and worthy of this treatment and the county funds, tax dollars. But I'm just wondering, does it really need to be $11,000 per person, and how much of that $11,000 is actually going to that person, and how much is going to their overhead?
Right.
They only pay for services rendered, so it's up to $7.5 million. It's not just a blank check. I think that how we need to look at our county funds, and where they're going, and what services have been received.
We want people healthy. So people that need to be admitted for that type of service, that's a pretty rough patch in somebody's life, so we want them to have the best, but we don't want people profiting from that either. We don't want people creating jobs for themselves. So the metric that you would use as a supervisor, what things would you be looking for from a program like that? What would you want for your money?
I would like to see the outcomes, what are the treatment outcomes? Are people, were people benefiting, and how did they benefit?
Right. The state of California issued a spending freeze. My understanding is that everything's locked up. What propelled them to issue this was that there was October 15th is when people who are self-employed, small businesses, hard deadline's October 15th, and when they got those numbers, they had a huge deficit. So many businesses have left the state. And the ones that are here, they're having to work harder for their money, so the profits aren't there. That there was this spending freeze, and then it was like, we have $58 billion deficit.
I thought it was 68.
Oh, maybe I was wrong. Let's see.
What's $10 billion?
Yeah, it's $10 billion. So we have this huge deficit, and I actually think that is under-projected. Based on what I've listened to. Because they can see this coming, that money that they're counting on getting that's been promised to them by the state, there's a very good chance that the state is in arrears on some of their promises already.
Well, that just gives us more reason to look at our sovereignty in all respects, financially and otherwise, because right now too many counties have become dependent on these state handouts. And what happens is they commit and they spend the money, and then they ask the state to pay them back for those monies. And that's almost the same as using a credit card. And we're seeing now that we cannot depend on the state to make good on their word.
Right. So is anything happening with redesignating the county? We talked about that before, that Shasta County was designated as a suburban county, which cost us a lot of grants that as a rural county we would receive, but it bumped up the salaries of management level positions. Has anybody talked about redesignating the county?
So far, to my knowledge, no. I think that would be a good thing for the board to address. And I hear it here and there, you know, in public comment period, people will talk about it. So there is public support for that idea. We have trouble finding doctors in this area because the Medicare designates us as a rural county. So they will not pay for the urban or suburban prices. So a lot of doctors say, I can't make enough money there. I'm not going to work there. If we designate ourselves as suburban, Medicare is still designating us as rural.
I know they talked about trying to attract doctors to Shasta County.
I don't know. I think Dr. Moo, who's the new chief health director for our county, I think he's got some good ideas. I talked to him briefly. He wants to incentivize doctors to stay here.
Good.
I look forward to seeing his plans and supporting him in that.
I've met him, and I absolutely think he is the guy for that job because of his concern for the patient and the outcomes, and he does care about this county. So what else was on the agenda?
One of the things was SB 43. Have you heard about that? The state bill, they want to do a conservatorship of people who are homeless. They want to make them a ward of the state and help them with drug addiction against their will. This would allow the state to go ahead and put them in rehab.
Decentralized, and I don't trust them at all.
Yeah, I don't trust them at all either. And I feel like that would really reduce their medical freedom significantly, you know. And what if in the future they can redesignate who qualifies as insane or needing
like
to become a ward? Yeah, it could be people who they disagree with politically.
Right.
So this was C7 said adopt a resolution which defers implementation of the changes to Welfare and Institutions Code Section 5008 by Senate Bill 43. And they all voted to support that. And I don't really know what this Welfare Institutions Code 5008 was. My understanding is that they're holding off, they're deferring the implementation of that until they see how this plays out in the Senate.
Based on the way our freedoms were taken from us during COVID. So Home Depot's not a dangerous place, but somehow exercising your First Amendment right to worship your own way was. And so it has a different light. Like it would sound really good pre-COVID. But now it's like, I have a hard time giving over any freedom to the state of California or any government entity at this point.
Yeah, well, right now, countywide, they have what they call a 5150, and that's where they can hold you for 24 hours against your will. So I think that is sufficient in the extreme cases of harm to yourself or others.
And they could probably keep you 72 hours with the right circumstance, I think.
Yeah.
So,
but taking you over completely in a conservatorship just seems extreme state overreach.
You know, there are times when a family member has to help somebody that needs that kind of help. It's a completely different thing to make somebody a ward of the state. That should be an absolute last resort.
Yes, I agree.
I mean, if you're breaking the law, there's things you can do for that. And it's a little late at that point, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be good if we just started with not getting people to that point? A system where we don't punish crimes. Where we don't give people the help they need until you wait until it's that bad, and then suddenly it's a little late as far as I'm concerned. So, Supervisor Laura Hobbs, what would your New Year's resolution be in that context?
Definitely to do the forensic audit, to do some ordinances for the elections to make them fair and transparent, and to separate the local ballots. Looking into the rural versus suburban. That would be my top 3.
Okay. So do you look forward to next year?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm excited about it, and I'm hopeful for this county. I think we got a lot of good things going. The 3 board majority now, and keeping them in office hopefully come March, January of 2025. I'd be taking my seat if I'm elected.
Right. So you're looking forward to working with Supervisors Jones, Cry, and Kellstrom, right?
Yes.
Supervisor Carpenter as well. God bless Wynn. God bless Supervisor Jones and Kevin Cry and Chris Kellstrom. We do need you guys to do your job, but it's not enough for us to say, hey, go do your job.
Yep.
If we want to have the freedoms that we have enjoyed, if we want those as citizens, we don't get to just go to business as usual because we didn't get here in a day, right? So people need to be paying attention. We need to be listening and asking questions. And I'm going to talk about gossip. When somebody writes an article about somebody's character, that's gossip. When somebody chooses to run down another person's reputation, that is gossip. And if you don't do your own research, you're participating in something that is not okay.
Yep, I think our mainstream media needs to be held accountable. And what they're doing is propaganda and brainwashing, and it needs to be called out. So thank you.
Right. And probably the best way to fix that is to stop buying. Stop watching horse manure.
Yeah.
Because that is all you're watching. If all they do is say the same thing. Try turning the station to another channel that is mainstream, and you're going to hear them say exactly the same words.
Yeah.
When everybody is parroting Mockingbird of each other, somebody's coordinating that messaging. And guess who they're trying to lie to? You. They're lying to you. Turn it off. Don't reward that.
I agree.
Can I ask you to bring our audience up to speed about Team Hope? Because some people may have not heard of your organization yet.
Team Hope is a small group of California patriots. We started in August of 2021 asking for records when we didn't even know what we were asking for. We didn't know anything really about elections. We have thousands of documents, post them in a public library that can be researched. You can research by what kind of records you're looking for. We literally have in our library communications between us and the Registrar of Voters, the Secretary of State, the DMV.
Can you tell people how to get a hold of that website where you catalog all the information and they can look it up?
You can find our work at teamhopelibrary.org.
They are my go-to resource for anything that I'm trying to look up, investigate, or public records request.